Thank you for coming. My talk is about 3 television shows that are currently on the air right now. Inside Amy Schumer, Broad City, and Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. So, I call them all our female millennial comedians. They're brazen, audacious, irreverent. I think that equals a feminist message. So just a little bit about the actual comedians who star and have created these shows. Inside Amy Schumer was created by Amy Schumer, who was a longtime stand-up comic, and she's got 3 seasons of Inside Amy Schumer under her belt. She's filming her 4th season right now, and just today I saw an article where tabloids caught her eating a sandwich while filming the 4th season right now. And it says, Amy Schumer shamed by tabloid for unthinkable act of eating a sandwich. Human woman Amy Schumer engaged in an activity we, as humans, must do to survive each day. What she did wasn't exciting or groundbreaking. In fact, it was something mundane. On Thursday, March 3rd, 2016, Schumer ate a sandwich for lunch. So we kind of draw this back to the example that we saw with Jennifer's talk about women not being able to eat, and they can't eat substantial food. Otherwise, it's news, right? And not only did she eat the sandwich, quote, this is what the tabloid said, she quickly wolfed down, end quote, a ham sandwich. So now we get this almost demonization of women eating food, and then when they do eat food, they wolf it down, especially when it's a substantial amount of food. So we use derogatory language when we talk about women, specifically women. So the end of the article luckily said, here's an idea, how about we lay off women, and men for that matter, for something that we all do as humans. And I think that's the heart of my message today, my talk, is that these brazen, audacious, irreverent women are just being people, and they just want to be humans. They don't want to be seen as women and not allowed to do certain things. And if they do certain things, it's not because they're women, it's because they're just humans. So that's Amy Schumer. We'll see a sketch or 2 from her as examples. Broad City is the second television show I'll talk about. It was a web series based on the same name from 2009 to 2011. They are in their 3rd season with renewals for seasons 4 and season 5. And it's a sitcom. I think it's comparable to Workaholics. It just has 2 Jewish women navigating New York City. Our 3rd example is going to be from Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, who stars Rachel Bloom, and the show is her as a hotshot lawyer, Rebecca. She moves to California because she's unhappy in her life, and she's also maybe chasing a boy, which is where we get the title, Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. She also won a Golden Globe this year for her show, her role in Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. And I forgot to mention that Amy Schumer won a Peabody Award in 2014, and she won the Emmy for Outstanding Variety Sketch Series in 2015. So these women are acclaimed for their progressive attack of these gendered stereotypes that we have, and they do it through comedy, through television. I feel like they're public servants for progress and change, especially when we want gender neutrality and gender equality. So, this is Broad City. Those are our 2 stars. Right? Yep, we get Abby over here and then Alana on the other side. So, brazen. These women are bold. They're not just taking the easy road. They have confidence in everything that they do. Their characters are very confident in the television shows as well. They're complex and they're not just female or feminine or just women. They show that they're unique. They're audacious. These shows are risky. I think a lot of people might critique them for being a little bit too edgy. And as an example, some of their sketches might be too edgy for our presentation today. We'll find out. We'll see what you guys think. They have a lack of respect for the system in a sense that they're critiquing it. They're challenging these traditional norms. They're taking risks, and they're fearless in their jokes. I'll say it right now on camera, I think that Amy Schumer might make a sketch about eating a sandwich and being critiqued for it by wolfing it down. She takes these experiences where she actually feels this gender inequality in real life and then turns that into the sketch that she puts on air for everyone to see and to recognize, hey, maybe we shouldn't be critiquing women for eating sandwiches. They're also irreverent. So they attack the openly gendered industry of entertainment and comedy, which is this cultural acceptance of gendered roles. And we've seen a lot of that with our talks today. This reinforcement of the narrative of what women should do and what men should do. I want to take 1 minute and talk about the titles. It's kind of hard to ignore the fact that these titles are brazen, audacious, irreverent. All of those things. They're critiquing. So inside Amy Schumer, dual purpose. Sexual reference inside Amy Schumer, literally, right? A sexual reference, but also inside her head. And in the opening sequence of her credits, you'll notice that the camera follows her, and then at the very last minute, the camera swoops in and it goes right into her head. It gets really close to her, so we're getting inside her head. So we're figuring out how she thinks and how she processes her life as a woman in America, how she deals with these gendered stereotypes and roles that she's supposed to play. And we also get the idea that she's probably going to talk a lot about sex, which she does. Broad city, emphasis on broad. This is my favorite definition. Gotta love Urban Dictionary. We all know broad is a negative term. You don't want to call a woman a broad unless you're trying to offend her. So they say it's less respectable than lady, but more respectable than bitch. It's a nice little middle ground, right? They're critiquing that term and they're owning it. Not only are they owning the city by traveling and just running around and doing whatever they want whenever they want it because they're people and they have the right to do that, but they're owning the term broad. They're saying, nope, that's ours. You can't use that anymore negatively. It's the title of our whole show. And then lastly, crazy ex-girlfriend. Crazy is a term that's often connected with women. We say you're crazy when they're doing anything that's not liked or accepted or enjoyed. We just say, you're acting crazy. So she's the crazy ex-girlfriend in the show. And what's great is in the opening sequence where you have the show starting up and it's the little jingle. Every show has its own little song. She sings it. And there are people that sing along and they're like, she's the crazy ex-girlfriend. And she's like, what? No, I'm not. That's a sexist term. Right in the opening credits, every single episode, you hear this song, it gets stuck in your head, and you're constantly associating crazy ex-girlfriend with inequality, right? The sexist term. We realize it and we hear it. So that's her way of getting at it and getting the message to us. But again, the chorus says, well, she's broken inside and she's really upset by that. So she's going to spend the whole show trying to break down these barriers where we have these stereotypes and these assumptions about particular terms and the language we use to describe women. Okay, so for examples, Inside Amy Schumer had a sketch where they parodied 12 Angry Men. So this is a 1957 film that tackles reasonable doubt as part of our justice system in trying someone for murder. There are 12 jurors that are locked in a room deliberating prejudices and judgments, much like this parody. We see our 12 actors here playing the jurors. They did it in black and white, just like the original film. But what is at stake here is not a murder case or a murder trial. They're actually figuring out if she's hot enough to be on TV. So she's been hearing these critiques for her whole show, that she's not good looking enough, that she's not skinny enough, that she's not cute enough to be the lead of her own show and to have primetime coverage and to have a voice. So in this whole sketch, she's trying to debunk the fact that women equals looks and vice versa. So we get these jurors and they say, yeah, I don't know. People get confused. It could throw off the standard of shows everywhere, right? If we let her on TV, what's next, right? The more she's out there flaunting that chipmunk face, the more her type becomes acceptable. So we have men judging women based on their looks and telling her whether or not she can do what she's already been doing. And there's Jeff Goldblum. He kind of runs the conversation in the jurors' room. And at the end, they get the vote. Gentlemen, raise your hands, please, if you think that Amy Schumer is not hot enough to be on TV. In this sketch, she shows that a lot of people, the media, say looks are all that matter for women, especially if you're on TV. And she says, no, it's not. And we don't just need reasonable doubt. We need to make it okay all across the board. And of course, I have my little asterisk just in case if you don't watch the episode, which it takes the entire 30-minute episode for them to do this sketch. She was determined pretty enough. She was successful. The jurors voted on her behalf, which is a good thing we've got a lot of men telling us what we can do, right? Okay, so moving on to Broad City. Just this last season, it was the opening episode, we saw a compilation of all these bathroom shots that they've been filming over the years. And they made a montage where there was a split screen, and we see both Abby and Alana on either side in their respective bathrooms. Now, the bathroom is a really private space. It's not a public space. So what happens is women get to do whatever they'd like in their bathrooms, and it's a safe place. So we see a whole lot of stuff that usually doesn't get to be seen. But they still show us on TV, which is great because we're seeing that women can just be people. They can be free, right? When they're alone, they can do all of these lovely things. And this was not even the comprehensive list of everything that happened in those bathrooms. The bathroom is a judgment-free zone. And they made that judgment-free zone available to us to realize maybe we should make all spaces judgment-free zones, not just bathrooms, not just the private space, but the public space needs to be judgment-free. All right, this is moving on to Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. This song is called the Sexy Getting Ready song. And you're more than welcome to YouTube this. Almost all of her videos, Rachel Bloom's videos, are posted on her website, her YouTube website, but also just in YouTube. If you type in any of the titles for her songs, you can find it. So the beginning of this song starts off with her saying, I'm going to get in touch with my feminine side, which means that you're not naturally in touch with this feminine side of getting ready and girly and makeup and hair and everything that goes along with it. You actually have to go and become a woman to look like a woman in public. So we have all these women that have facial peels, nose strips, foil in their hair, they got foam on their lip because they're going to shave off their mustaches, curlers in their hair, and everybody's wearing Spanx. Gotta get in Those Spanx, right? So this is all the stuff that the song talks about that includes getting ready for a date. Primping and plucking and brushing and rubbing and fluffing and flouncing and giggling and laying, because I want my body to be soft for you. And then we hear in the background, bye-bye skin. So being a woman means you have to like get rid of your skin and your hair and everything, which looks like this. Here's all the waxing and shaving and stuffing and primping. So halfway through the song, we get some reflection. We get some reaction to this getting ready and the need for getting ready as a woman. And so we see a guy, he's getting ready, but he's getting ready because he's just laying across the couch, sleeping. He's just snoring. He's the one that's going on the date with her and she's getting ready for, and he's just like conked out, right? You can hear the TV in the background. He just fell asleep watching TV. So he's not getting ready. He doesn't have to get ready. And then we also get a reaction. This is a little bit more overt, and I think it works because Rachel Bloom isn't the one saying it. She has somebody from outside, from the patriarchy, coming in and saying, wow, what's going on here? He comes in and says, God, what? This is how you get ready? There's actually a scene in the video where she is waxing her anus, and as she pulls off the tape, blood splatters behind her on the wall. This is what women go through to be women in public for men. And then behind the scenes, someone sees this and he says, this is horrifying. This is some scary movie or something, like some nasty ass patriarchal bullshit. And it is. And we see it in the video, and we see it from start to finish, and we understand the critique that Rachel Bloom is trying to get us to see. Unfortunately, though, she still goes out and she still primps herself up, and we see the struggle with how to be a woman and how to not want to be a woman like that. So these female millennial comedians, they share this desire to shatter the impression that women are just objects to be seen. They want to be people. They don't want to be ogled and desired and categorized and controlled. And that's how they're doing it through their sketches, is by saying, I don't want to be this anymore. I don't want you to do this to me any longer. Through humor, which is, I think, the best way to get that message across. But they struggle with it, and they show that struggle, and I think that's the real look into how we deal with this, is by saying, I'm a part of this system just as much as everybody else is. I'm trying to change it. I'm trying to progress and make everything equal and better for everybody, but it's hard. It's really hard. So by showing how gender stereotypes affect their private and public lives, these women just want to be people. They just want to be free. They just want to be humans. They want to eat a sandwich without having the tabloids say that she wolfed it down, right? These terms that people use to describe how women should be, as opposed to how women just are. Just as a reminder, we probably have talked about some things, but Walla Walla Community College absolutely is committed to exploring all these challenging ideas. This kind of talk right here today is our intellectual conversation where we get to work through these issues and talk about everything that's happening around us. So in the spirit of Walla Walla Community College and academic freedom, our next sketch is by Amy Schumer, and it is called The Last Fuckable Day. So this sketch stars Patricia Arquette, Tina Fey, and Julia Louis-Dreyfus. And so Amy Schumer comes up in the middle of this beautiful field with this table laid out in front of these three women, and they're sitting there eating, and they're laughing, and they're having fun, and they just seem so at ease, and they're just having a good time with each other. And they're celebrating the last fuckable day for Julia Louis-Dreyfus. It's official. The media has told her she is no longer fuckable. Right? The media, they don't really tell you. There's no like signs right here. There's no overt message, but you kind of get the cues, right? You stop going from sex roles and love interests, and now you're just the mom role. And there's a certain age, there's a certain time where women just feasibly can't be seen as sexual objects any longer. And she says, I'm so grateful. They let me be fuckable through my 40s and into my 50s. So she's even buying into the system herself in this character, in this sketch, showing how unfair things are. So do men have the same last fuckable day? In the sketch, they say no. They're fuckable forever. Right? But here's the catch. They're so happy because now they just get to be people. They get to grow their pubes out. They can chug melted ice cream. They can belch and fart, which, well, we can't see the pubes growing out, but all the other things happen in the sketch, right? They actually do those things just to show we're free, right? We can just be people. No one's judging us based on our sexuality. So we see these women, and they are just the happiest women because they are freed from the shackles of societal gender pressures. Their sexuality has been taken away, but that makes them happy. So what I say is let's not have to free women by degendering them. Let's just let women do those things and be those things and not allow our culture and our society to tell women how long they can be seen as sexual or attractive or anything new. Thank you.